Hey guys, it's Kyle with Mixed Martial Aficionado. It's been a while, and we've got a lot to talk about. So, first and foremost, I appreciate you guys being here, and we're going to hop right into a very quick recap of last weekend's pretty forgettable UFC event. Um, of course, it was Fight Night 231, Almeida versus Lewis. Jalton Almeida getting it done, just controlling, dominating Lewis on the ground for the entirety of the fight. So that's something, I suppose. But yeah, let's start from the top here quick. Mark Giacasi getting a win over Caue Fernandez. Fernandez was a pretty highly touted prospect. I think he was 8-1 coming into this. Now 8-2. But um, solid fight. Um, Fairly back and forth. Um, didn't really learn too much. Eduardo Moura and Montserrat Ruiz. uh, Eduardo Moura is a beast. she she looked terrifying walking out, and yeah, I mean she got it done fairly quickly. She beat the absolute shit out of that poor girl. Um, 10-8, 10-7 rounds. Like, what are we doing here? If they were scored, if the second was scored anyway. Um, yeah, pretty bad, pretty freaking bad. Um, Angela Hill sort of exposing Denise Gomez or Gomes, I guess. Um, Obviously, Angela Hill has the most experience in the women's strawweight division, uh, and Denise is fairly new to the game, but I mean, anything that made her uh, an imposing presence or a anything that set her up for her to use her power, right? Just it just wasn't there for her. Next, obviously, Vitor Petrino getting that sick knockout of Modestas Bukauskas. That came pretty early in the second round. Next, we had a weird draw with Elizeu Deliski dos Santos and Rinat Fakhretdinov. Um, Solid fight. Um, I maybe had Dos Santos edging that one a little bit. Uh, I mean, they both put on a really good fight. Um, but I think Dos Santos got the better of most of the exchanges. Um, was more accurate. Fakhretdinov was winging a lot. But yeah, up next, Elves Brenner got that sick knockout over Kanyan Kruczewski. He came in on really short notice. They fought at a catch weight. Not much to say there. Again, didn't learn too much. Um, that Kraszewski guy, he was 15-1, I guess, coming into that. But short notice is never good, and we'll get to that again a little bit later here. Caio Borralho and Abu Smagomedov. I mean, closer than I thought it'd be, you know? Uh, yeah, a little closer than I thought it'd be, but Caio got the dub. This Nascimento and Mays fight was a little bit weird. Obviously, this was a rematch. Nascimento beating him the first time and seemed to be pretty much having his way in the start of that fight. But Mays was definitely catching him. Um, and it seemed like his shots were having more impact. Um, yeah, started to really come on in the second and third rounds. I feel like the first round was clear for Nascimento, but Mays was looking good in the second and third rounds as far as sloppy heavyweights go, right? Um, Next, Dalby and Bonfim. I mean, I kind of expected this. Um, I don't want to call Dalby a gatekeeper per se, but he's definitely like the test for dudes that are coming up. He's just got really sick conditioning um, and experience. I feel like there wasn't really anything that Bonfim had or could have presented to him that he wouldn't have been familiar with, you know. And then yeah, the main event we talked about that already. Jalton held him down for 5 rounds. Fun stuff. Anyways, what we really came here for is this baddie here. UFC 295. We're not getting Stipe versus John Jones, but I mean, pretty sick substitute. We've got Potan and Prohashka in the main event, and Pavlovich and Aspinal in the co-main. Um, I hate seeing Aspinall show up on short notice. Um, Especially at the highest level, and when Pavlovich, I'm not sure which emphasis to put on which syllable. Um, but like in the top 10, top 5, when one side is coming in on short notice, yeah, Pavlovich was preparing for someone else, but he was still in training camp and aware that he had a fight coming up for much, much longer than Aspinall. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. But if Aspinall can get it done, it's going to be it's going to say a lot about his potential. Um, but alas, we'll start at the top of the card here. Dennis Bazukia and Jamal Emmers. This Dennis guy had a pretty sick showing his first fight. I don't recall if he got the win there, but I do recall it quite vividly. Pretty sure that was a short notice one for him too. Oh yeah, lost to Sean Woodson. Hmm. Yeah, he got kind of beat up there, didn't he? Um, I'm vaguely recalling that fight. Jamal Emmers, I mean, he's been heavily favored in previous matchups. I haven't seen the odds on this one yet, but um, I feel like Bazuki is a lot bigger than him. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes, but I don't really know enough about these guys to make an educated guess or an educated pick, I suppose. Um, so we're just gonna move on. Josh Van and Kevin Borjas. Forgive me. Um, Josh Van's a beast. Um, he's currently 8-1. I'm pretty sure he's. Why did I think he was Australian? Um, okay. Like Devin Jackson is just a common name. I'm like, sounds familiar. Um, hmm, interesting. One loss by sub. What? How did that come? The infamous RNC. And they both got really good records. 8-1 versus 9-1. Both fairly young in their careers. Both only have a single loss by submission. Is it an RNC too? Yep. That's funny. That is funny. I wonder if either of them have weaponized their weakness since then. Um, Pitbull Martial Arts Center, 4 Ounce Fight Club. Hmm. It's another. Pardon me. Another tough one to call. Um, yeah. Interesting first couple of fights on this card here. John Castaneda and Kyung Ho Kang. I think they might pronounce it Kyung Ho Kong. I don't know. But he's sort of a veteran of the sport. Um, he's 36 and he's been fighting for a long time, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, since 2007, this dude's been fighting. He's been fighting some big names. Um, 19-9. The record doesn't look great on paper, but I feel like he's a really good fighter. Um, Only one loss by knockout, one loss by sub. Hmm. I mean, it's definitely an intriguing matchup. The old sexy Mexi. That is hilarious. Um, John Castaneda's 20-6. I mean, Wayne Gaffarov. That's the dude with the weird patch of hair on his back that just fought. Oh my God, what the hell's his name? Nathaniel Wood, I think. No. Okay. Same card. There were a lot of Ovs and Evs, and there were a lot of those names on that card. Um. Okay. Hmm. He did kind of get fucked up though, right? Didn't he like charge into a guillotine? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm definitely getting folks conflated there, but it's coming back to me now. Okay. Next. Oh, I mean, I can't give any picks for these three fights because I don't know a whole lot about any of these guys, to be honest. Um, gun to the head, I would have to say. So if I was forced to make a parlay, I would probably say Bazooka with a full training camp gives Emmers a really tough fight. I think he gets it done. I think Josh Van has a good chance of getting it done. I haven't seen that Kevin Boras guy, but I'm kind of want to lean towards Josh Van in that one, and then Castaneda and Kong there. It's gonna be a close one. I think Castaneda gets it done, and this is purely from a speculative, forced parlay situation. I would probably go right up that left side there. But I mean, you can't count any of these other guys out. So, I mean, parlay at your own risk. Uh, next, Jared Gordon and Mark O'Madsen. Um, yeah, that sucked. Um, he didn't look great in that Bobby Green fight, but also like Marco Madsen, not my favorite fighter in terms of action and excitement. Let's be real. But I think he might still have enough in the tank. He's an old dude, right? 39. he might he might be able to get it done if he's able to get Gordon to the ground and just sort of wrestle him. I think he is going to be dominant in scrambles if it does get down to the ground. Yeah, I'm leaning towards Madsen here, even though he's old as shit. Um, Nazim Sadikov and Vyacheslav Borshev. It's that Slava Claus dude. Um, Nazim Sadikov is another Saralongo fighter, right? They got Naz and that Bazooka guy. So that's neat. Um, Vyacheslav Borshev has been, I mean, pretty impressive. Um, those losses don't look great. Hmm. Never been stopped. Never been stopped. Hmm. It's tough. I I I often have a little bit of a bias towards Sarah Longo. Um, it's a tough one to call. they've both got power. They both can wrestle. It's just going to be a battle of technique and who can get to the target first, I think. Um, Again, Sarah Longo bias fully acknowledged. I'm probably going to go with Nas on this, and we'll see where that gets me. Um, Mateusz Rombetsky, I think they pronounce it, and Roosevelt Roberts. Um, Roosevelt was just on that last season of The Ultimate Fighter, um, coming in with a 12-3, sort of a spread in the method of loss. I mean, you can't really fault him for that Bahamondes loss, although we've seen some holes in his game even. Um, hmm. Um, hmm. It's it's kind of hard for me to say in this one. I feel like hmm. I'm not sure how Roberts' takedown defense is, but I feel like this Rombetsky dude has a he's got knockout power, and if he gets it down to the ground, I don't really see Roberts being better than him on the ground. I could be wrong. I could be surprised. He's really long, um, so he may be able to like sneak in a triangle choke or something from his back. If Rombetsky gets too carried away, but I don't know. I'm leaning towards Rombetsky in this one. Next, Tabitha Ricci and Lupita Godinez. Um, Pretty sweet fight. I'm uh, I'm excited for this one. Uh, Lupi's probably one of my favorite female fighters. Um, on the entire roster, I would say, in the UFC. Yeah, and Ricci isn't too far behind either. She's uh she's a fun one to watch. Um, Loopy's on a tear. Ricci's really short. What are their heights? 5'2" and 5'2". Okay, so they're both really short. Okay. Um, I think when it comes to overall technique and just like I don't know, I feel like some people when the fight starts, they're just like tuned in, you know, like from start to finish, and I feel like Loopy's sort of on that level. Um, Again, I'm not counting out Baby Shark over there, but think Loopy's got that one. Um, Steve Urseg and Alessandro Costa. I don't know much, if anything, about this Alessandro Costa guy, but Steve Urseg won me some money. I'm pretty sure. Um, yeah, his debut in the UFC against David Dvorak. Um, yeah, I mean, I did watch some older tape, like some of his Emma or Eternal fights. Um, I wasn't super impressed, but he's got KO power, and when he gets hit, he he can. I mean, he gets hit, he gets hurt, he gets dropped, but he somehow always finds a way to like sneak in a submission or something off his back or win a scramble and turn the tides somehow. Um, he's a fun fighter to watch. I wish the Eternal MMA events were filmed in better quality, but some of his fights were pretty fun to watch. Um, let's see this boy here. His nickname is No No. He's been knocked out twice. That's scary. 27 at a Lobo gym. I mean, interesting. It's, so in this one, I'm probably leaning Urseg with the very real chance that Alessandro Costa could just like put his lights out in the first round. Because like he gets hit. Urseg gets hit, you know? It's just a matter is of like how he handles getting hit very, very hard. you know? Uh, yeah, it's a tough one to call. I'm leaning Urseg, but I feel like Costa by first round or second round knockout wouldn't be a terrible pick either. Um, Diego Lopez or Lopes? Is it Lopes? Whatever. Our boy Diego and Pat Sabatini. Um, we know what Pat Sabatini wants to do, right? He wants to wrestle you. He wants to get you down. He wants to ground and pound, or he he wants to wrestle you. Um, yeah, like two knockouts, 11 submissions. He wants to get you down. He's hunting for that sub. However, we got that BJJ bad boy in Diego Lopes. Um, he is. He's been really impressive so far. Um, I mean, he's been fighting for a long time, but I mean, Damon Jackson hits hard, but like, come on there, Pat. That loss does not look good. That does not look good. Um, tough one to call. Um, I don't think Lopes is gonna be there for Pat to just get down to the ground and submit. I really don't. Um, I predict that their submission skills are sort of gonna like maybe make it a fist fight. You know, make it a little bit of a boxing match. Um, and I think in that case, I'm not sure what their reaches are. I feel like Pat's a bit taller. No, not at all. He's shorter. Um, I'm I'm gonna go Lopes by KO. I think if Damon Jackson can knock Sabatini out, then Diego Lopes can as well. Phew. This one makes me sad. Benoit Saint Denis and Matt Frivola. I mean, I like both of these guys a lot, and Saint Denis sort of has that never quit attitude. I mean, the man almost passed away in the freaking octagon. Um, I think. Hmm. What do I think? Saralongo bias aside, oh, man, I'm conflicted here. My heart's telling me Frivola, but my brain's telling me Saint Denis. Um, yeah, it's I don't know. I really don't know. I would have to see the odds. I'm pretty sure Frivola's a pretty sizable underdog. So for that, I would probably put him on a parlay. Um, just for shits and gigs, but I don't know. I don't know. It all depends. It all depends on what happens and how each of them react to each of their hardest shots because they're going to be landing them. They're both going to be connecting with big shots. I don't know if Saint Denis is going to try to wrestle him down to the ground so that his power is nullified. But I'm not gonna like watching this one, but I'm gonna really like watching this one. I'm gonna be like watching it through my fingies. Um, Andrade and Dern. I mean, I don't really care too much about this fight. Let's be completely honest. Um, Andrade has obviously shown that she can be taken down. She's shown that she can be swarmed and knocked out, like in the or TKO'd at least in the Wei Li fight. But she's also shown that she has probably some of the best knockout power in women's strawweight. Um, Dern's shown to be sloppy with takedown attempts. I mean, I feel like if Andrade is on it that night, I see her being able to like clip Dern enough on the entry where like it'll de-incentivize that, and then without her takedowns, I feel like Andrade will just piece her up on the feet. I'm actually my first instinct is Andrade first round KO, but could very well be a decision. But either way, I'm leaning towards Andrade in this fight. I don't know why, but something's just telling me that Dern won't have what it takes to compete against Andrade's striking. And yeah, we'll have to see. But if Dern gets a takedown, it's game over. I also have to acknowledge that. Um, then we have Pavlovich and Aspinal for the. I guess it's saying title fight, but I think it's just an interim, right? Huh. This is a scary fight for Aspinall. Um, Pavlovich is a scary dude. 18-1. His only knockout came to Alistair Overeem. Which hasn't aged so great. I guess he is sort of a glass cannon. So um, he did still have some mixed success at the tail end of his career, but he was getting knocked out a lot. um, yeah, Aspinall. I mean, like I feel like this one is not gonna last long. You know, if history repeats itself, these guys don't have a lot of fight time combined. I think I heard a stat it's like less than 30 minutes or something, all of their UFC fights combined. But whatever. Aspinall's coming in on short notice. That sucks. I'm probably gonna lean towards Pavlovich for that reason, but I think it's gonna be a really tough competitive fight for as long as it lasts, which may not be very long. But I would be very surprised if both guys don't get a little bit of a taste of each other's power there. The main event: Poatan, Alex Pereira, and Yuri Prohashka. Man, I'm very excited for this fight. Very, very excited for this fight. It's kind of a toss up, you know? We haven't seen Alex at 205 in the UFC. We don't know if he's going to have filled out a lot, what he's going to look like. Um, but we have seen pictures of him next to Dominic Reyes in training camp, and he made Dominic Reyes look like a small boy. Um, so I would have to imagine he's gonna look pretty big at light heavy, um, even compared to Yuri. Like, what are their heights here? Pereira's 6'4", Yuri's 6'4". Big boys. Holy smokes. Um, is the was that what's his name? Fucking Kadirov's like ex right hand man that like mysteriously just passed away. I think it may have been. We won't dig too far into that, but let me just we'll just throw that out there. It doesn't seem to end well for certain fighters who have allegiance to that certain Chechnyan dictator man. Um, let's see. Yeah, but I really, really don't know what to think here. Damn, Pereira's coming in as a favorite? I didn't think that that would be a thing, but I think Yuri's wacky style, like, all, all it takes is for Pereira to fucking just clip him with a little, boop, just a little baby left hook that that has the power of like 10 bricks in a fucking sleeping bag. Sleeping bag, pillowcase. I think that's what I was. I think that's what I was meaning to say there. Although 10 bricks in a sleeping bag would probably get some good, you know, some good swing force with that. But I don't know what to think about this one. It's pretty. It's not a fight that like I expected to see. Could you imagine? I mean, I'm rooting for Pereira. I want to see that dude get get champ status. That would be so crazy. But pee break. All right, shit, we're back. Yeah, I it's a tough one to call, but I feel like Pereira has like just enough skills to nullify Yuri's attack, like those crazy calf kicks and his left hook from hell. But we still don't like really know how good his takedown defense is, right? We don't really know how good Yuri's takedown offense is either. um, but goddamn, uh, yeah, I I have a bad feeling it's just gonna be another trademark left hook finish. Um, but I'm not gonna discount Yuri's potential to do something just insane. You know, I saw someone on Twitter say that he fights like a well-trained crackhead, and I think that's pretty accurate. But yeah, Stoneface for the win. Um, yeah, not much more to say here. I'm pretty bummed that we didn't get to see John Jones fight, but I don't know. I feel like this card sort of suffered from it. But I mean, we've got a bunch of pretty good fights here. We're all going to be watching, but if you lasted this long, toss me a little like, toss me a subscribe, share the channel if you feel so inclined to a friend, family member, loved one. Um, yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Love you guys. Bye bye.